It's Friday, and if you're joining us live, we're a couple of hours earlier than usual, as today we have an actual play this evening at 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern, of Dungeon Crawl Classics, where we will have devious dungeons. I'm not sure there are any foreboding forests. We'll definitely have some cool cats. But for now, it's time for Kickstart Your Weekend. And today we've got Neil. Hi, Neil. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm well. How am I doing? I'm the special kind of exhausted that you only get at the end of a Kickstarter, but otherwise I'm good.
So this is something I've never encountered then, unless you're talking about the end of a Kickstarter when you back something and it's just on the edge of whether or not it's going to fund.
That's exhausting in its own way. Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think it's. That's not something I felt for a long time. As we know, I've backed too many Kickstarters in my time. But we are here.
As the shelves behind you reveal.
Some of these are Kickstarters, a few of them aren't. But yeah, probably a lot of them are. I should think at least 5%.
Yeah, at least. Add a 0 on the end of that.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's the Friday show, and what we do in Kickstart Your Weekend is we talk about things that happened in the last week. We focus a little bit on new Kickstarters, new gaming Kickstarters, role-playing and board games. And we just talk a bit of rubbish as well.
We're good at that.
We're very good at that. So I thought we'd do something a little bit different this time around and start off by looking at, particularly as we know one of the things on the top of, well, the thing at the very top of this list has broken global records for Kickstarter and is setting a new trend. It's going to be very controversial to see whether or not they pull everything off in the timescales they're talking about. So let's look at the like maybe the top 12 or so, not in depth, Kickstarters that are currently funding by the amount that they're funded by. Let's just have a little look and see what's happening. Particularly as I know that we're probably not going to deep dive into any of these. They've had quite a lot of PR, and if you're into Kickstarters, then you'll probably know all about them already. But let's have a look. So we've got obviously Avatar by Magpie.
$6.5 million.
Yeah, and just think, I wonder how much. I mean, this is one of the things about IP-based games. Is one of the reasons why they're so attractive to publishers, of course, is they don't really have to generate quite as much original art. They don't have to come up with a world. They do obviously have to come up with a storyline if they're providing scenarios, but really this is just a translation of someone else's idea into a role-playing setting. So in terms of development costs, it's probably relatively low, and the profit is clearly going to be huge if they.
And you've got that guaranteed market, haven't you? The fans of the IP.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense, as this clearly shows.
Yeah, everyone underestimated this. I mean, some of the other games that are funding at the moment have not done well, and one can only blame Avatar and maybe some naivety on their part, or on everyone's part for that. Some have done exceptionally well, and we'll point those out as we go through. But yeah, it's changed the world, and people who are interested in Avatar have most likely, I would presume, spent as much as they can at Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And just probably don't have much left. The next one on here, actually, Flamecraft. This one surprised me a little bit when it came out on Kickstarter. I thought it looked really nice. It's a worker placement game. I love the sort of cutesy setting. I am actually going to click on this one. I was really tempted by it, I must confess. And then I remembered that it's not going to get any play at the table, so I didn't back it. But I love it. I think it's great. You're basically doing literally worker placement with these little cute dragons. And I just really like the style.
It's nice art, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I would have said that it's really optimistic, being able to do it in all of these languages, but I kind of have to eat those words a little bit because they've actually funded really well. We'll double check the amount they're at the moment, but they're the second most funded game or product under tabletop games that's running right now. and I think it looks superb. Standard edition, you get quite a lot, cards and cards and cards and cards, and some nice little wooden meeples, which actually
nice.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, you can make out their dragons. You've got the. I was going to say beak.
Just
That's
about.
not right, is it? Mouth and the wings. But of course, if you upgrade to the deluxe edition, which is a no-brainer, I think you can afford it.
That's nice, isn't it? Those are pretty cool.
Yeah. Wash them down, throw a bit of ink on them, and they'll be really awesome. If the resin will take it, or the plastic, and lots of other things. I think this is a really nice product. And to be honest, it probably would get table play, but I just can't justify it personally. Game Trade's insert as well. I mean, they're renowned for being the people to go to right now. In terms of pledge levels, $40, £30 for the standard version.
It's all right, isn't it?
60 quid for the version that you really want to get, if you're me. So yeah, that's funding at $1 million now. Yeah, $1 million, which is really great going.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm really
good for them.
I'm wishing that I could justify it. I'm just going to very quickly touch on the other things that they created as well, just so that you know what you're getting into. Yeah, I don't actually know either of those other two projects.
Me neither.
We could do a deep dive and look and see how successful they are. I don't think that's necessarily. Let me show you. That opened in a different window. I didn't realize. The other two projects they did. I don't know either of those, but they're doing very well.
Both had 1,000+ backers.
Yeah.
Mission Catastrophe almost 2,000.
Yeah, if you wanted to, you could deep dive and just make sure in the comments that those are fulfilled, if actually they're supposed to have fulfilled by now. But I don't think that this feels like a particularly underpriced product. I think that it looks like the sort of thing you can do for that amount of money. I think it's a great looking game. What else did we have? Iridia, I'll be honest, I had a look at this. It's billed as a cooperative fantasy role-playing game, but I really didn't like the style of it. Personally, I'm not going to click on it. Dragon Eye Dice, it's impressive what they've done.
Very popular.
Very, very popular. Not a fan, I must confess.
They're not my favourite looking dice. I mean, they're striking, but it's not something I would necessarily want to roll at the table, I don't think. Maybe more collector's piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Hexagonal gaming system, actually, I do want to talk about, and I've just realised I completely failed to prep a little bit about that, so I will disappear off screen in a second to get some of those pieces. Forbidden Lands, Book of Bees, that's going to fund before our next show, so please, if you're interested in reading about the Book of Beasts, or rather in watching what we had to say about that, go back a couple of episodes. I think it was the one before the one where we had Drew Gascott on, and we spoke about it quite a lot. So yeah, have a look at our brief thoughts there. I think it's an instant back if you've got Forbidden Lands, though. It's very good value for money. Delta Green, I don't really know a lot about Delta Green, but I know enough people who love it. If you like Cthulhu and you like conspiracy stuff and X-Files, etc., have a look at it. It's definitely worthwhile.
I'm not a massive Cthulhu fan, as you know, but I think Delta Green is my favourite sort of incarnation of Cthulhu. I played it a few times.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who absolutely adore it. I bought the Master of Nyarlathotep, which is up behind me here, but I still haven't gotten through the Cthulhu starter set, and I have played Call of Cthulhu a couple of times, but it was a long time ago, and I don't really remember it. And it was a bad experience, really, but that's more around the way that it was being presented, more as it kind of felt more like a miniatures game than a narrative role-playing game, which is just inaccurate GMing, I guess. I mean, I say inaccurate, you can run a game however you like, but it didn't really work for the setting.
Didn't work for you. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I think it's probably worthwhile, as we're talking about Kickstarters that are currently funding, I'd like to just spend a couple of minutes letting my good friend Neil sell his swag one last time, because we've got what 2 hours and a bit left.
Yeah, 2 3/4 hours left to go. Yeah.
On this lovely bad boy here, Starfarer dice. We've spoken about this regularly.
No, we hit 11,000. Nice.
11,000 dice. Yeah, I know I've been a bit unfair in kind of punting and touting Neil's wares, but he's an avid contributor to the show and a good friend, so suck it. Basically.
Well, thank you. Let's not spend too long today, though.
Well, I mean, the reality is that they're really pretty, and
thanks.
I've paid for them. I don't get freebies. That's not true. Just putting Neil on the spot now. Anyway, no, it's cool. I've paid for mine because I actually really like them, and I do like paying my way when it comes to products, because everyone needs to put food on the table, and every penny counts. But let's talk about these dice and what they represent. I'm going to scroll through these very quickly. There's quite a few different variations, and
yeah, so we've managed to unlock 8 colors, which is super cool. Colors. Plus the dice, they're all dice. Told you, brains melting after a month. Plus the coin, I meant to say. The coins are really good. This is a sort of a sci-fi version, the Starfarer version of there it is. Of the coin that we used for our last Kickstarter, which had a dragon's head on it.
Which I should have found, and then I could show it on the camera, but I still haven't located where that's gone.
Well, if I was clever, I'd have grabbed one of the prototypes to show, but I also didn't do that.
We're so good at this.
Yeah, real pros.
That's with Neil up here in the corner, look.
And there I am, looking quite young, actually. I might need to update that photo. And I'm really pleased that we also managed to unlock the poker chips.
Yes.
Actually, I've got a... Shall I share a close-up?
Share away.
Of the chip design.
And I'm going to just step away for a second. Hang on. If I just swap us around and then do that. That didn't really work. Let's just do that.
That works.
I'm going to disappear from the screen for a second whilst Neil talks.
Okay. So the reason I'm excited about poker chips is because it occurred to me that poker chips are used reasonably often by gamers. So I was playing actually in Phil's Deadlands Noir campaign, which is Savage Worlds. And in Savage Worlds, you have bennies, which are, I think it's short for benefits. Is that right, Phil? You know, yeah. Which you can spend for like rerolls and things like that. And other games also have meta currencies that you need to keep track of. Like, there we go, there's a Benny. Like darkness points in Coriolis, things like that. And when I was playing Savage Worlds, I was using these. This is like a really cheap plastic poker chip from.
What were you using? Yes.
A cheapo plastic poker chip from a very cheap poker set. And like, that's fine. It works. But it's not the same as a really nice quality clay casino style poker chip. And there aren't many sort of gaming specific chips. Normally poker chips are, well, poker, you know.
Yeah, obviously. And I'll tell you what's really interesting, whilst we're talking about Savage Worlds, is I've got Deadlands Noir, Deadlands Lost Colony, Deadlands Weird West, the new one, and the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. And so far I've opened the bennies from the Adventure Edition and Weird West. And that's just, there's a giant box basically of, when I say the Adventure Edition, I mean this.
Oh, that's the big, monster. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll change the camera in a second so that we are of equal proportion. There we go. And so far, all of them, I don't know if Lost Colony is the same, but I'm presuming it probably is. Apart from the the Deadlands Noir ones, which look like this. So there are a few of them, but can you see there? Yeah.
No, that's quite cool.
So that is a clay chip, and it's lovely. And then all the others so far that I've opened have been plastic.
Ah, that's a shame.
Which just really cheapens it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I've ended up using the Noir ones for everything, and I've got a chip in
sure.
one of them actually, a chip in the chip. So personally, I'm actually really excited when I saw that, because I hadn't been paying close enough attention to the campaign. When I suddenly saw those unlock as an add-on when I was adding a third set, because I realised what's the point in paying £5 for a coin when I can pay £8 and get a set of dice and get a coin anyway.
Free. Yeah.
So at that point, I thought this doesn't really add up. And I saw that, and I'm like, they look a little bit nicer than what I'm currently using. Because I love these Deadlands Noir ones, but and there's a few different pictures on them. See if we can see them. So there's a house on fire, and
sure that's not a hospital on fire, Phil.
Probably is a hospital on fire. It's a throwback to our home campaign, and a car with some shady figures. But that's not really that useful when or doesn't feel that context specific.
Yeah, right.
When you're playing Dungeon Crawl Classics or something.
Yeah.
What color are those poker chips going to be?
They're going to be black and blue, basically.
Yeah, which are my two colors.
Nice, kind of.
Thanks, Neil.
Yeah. Should be good. Should be good. I'm really looking forward to them, actually.
So
that's quite fun. So we've got those as an add-on.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, really so pack 20.
Yeah.
Which I thought will be plenty for most games. Some people have gone for a couple of packs, but so I'm looking forward to that. They're going to be quite cool. Look at that! Unlock. That makes me happy.
Including Cyborg, which made you very happy.
That was my favourite, and I was a bit disappointed actually at the beginning, because the order was decided by vote, and nobody was voting for Cyborg.
I mean, if you were a less scrupulous person, then you would have just said the Cyborg one anyway.
I could have done, couldn't I? Yeah.
But I'm surprised you didn't just have that as default unlocked. I suppose you need to make sure that people will actually buy the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wanted to go with what people wanted, and turned out they did want Cyborg, so I'm pleased about that. Let me quickly just share some pictures of the dice themselves.
Do it.
And then we can move on. So there we got the first one, the most popular one actually, is Mothership on the left there. Mm-hmm. And then we've also got, actually, so the second most popular was this one, Polaris on the top left.
Is that the white with the clear with the blue?
Yeah.
Did that not originally have a different name?
It did. We decided to change the name of that one. It's the only one that's changed names.
Yeah. It's probably a wise idea.
Yeah, probably. we didn't want to upset anyone.
No.
That's all.
And so we've got how long left? I'm just going to double check.
Also got
talking.
Can you share that one, Phil?
Sorry.
It's all right. And then we've got those two. Red Dwarf is a firm favourite.
Was that like the second unlock or something? Or the first unlock?
I think that was third. I think.
I knew it was really high.
It looks like we've got Joel in the chat, who's a fan of the Red Dwarf there.
Oh, yes, there's loads of comments that I missed.
Then
Martin, Joel, thanks for joining us.
And there's Cyborg, that's my favourite one.
Joining us as well. Twitch bots, really appreciate your input.
Yeah, Twitch bots, thanks.
Hang on,
want to become famous. One of them says.
So very, very quickly, Martin said those dragon dice are no Starfarer dice. Totally agree.
Thank you, Bertram.
Yoel is asking Martin to add a set of Red Dwarf dice for Martin's purchase. So, just one set. You sure you don't want more? Did you miss how many other sets just arrived? No, but I'm pimping for Neil.
My people.
And
what I'm talking about.
also getting chips. See, we do all the best pimping on the Dark Orb.
Absolutely.
Sorry, let's go back to these colours. So I really like the one on the left, actually. I do like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone likes contrasting. Not everyone likes orange. So I can see why maybe it wasn't the most popular choice. But I think that orange with the frosted kind of clear frosted kind of colour and then the blue swirls in it as well. For me, that is an absolute winner.
I think you should get that one.
Yeah. I think I will. I think I may be getting many hundreds of sets, in fact.
Do it.
Yeah, and then the blue on the right, that's what's that one? That's Andromeda. So yeah, that's the 8.
Cool. So yeah, have another look if you haven't done already. It's like £8 per set, I think.
Yeah, 10 for the first set and then 8 for any additions.
Any subsequent sets. Add-ons are available. Buy 3 sets, you get a free coin. So Martin is now definitely getting his free coin. I think he was buying 3 sets anyway. So he's now buying 6 because Yoel needs 3. He just doesn't know it yet. Then the poker chips are an additional.
They're 11.
Something £11, and there is incremental shipping on those as well. Just so that you're aware, because.
The shipping's relatively it's lowish given the current situation. Because the great thing about dice is they're small and light, so we can get away with cheapish shipping. It's more than we'd like to charge, to be quite honest, and more than the previous Kickstarters. But international shipping at the moment is mental.
It's just fucked.
Completely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so for context, within the UK, my pledge is 3 sets of dice and a set of poker chips, and I want to say it's pretty much dead on 40 quid, including shipping, which is pretty good.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. That's really good. I mean, I'm just super excited about the what they call now the Polaris dice.
Yeah.
And the poker chips and the coin. And we're getting a purple set. I don't know what the third set is. Maybe we'll get that third set as whatever the most popular set is, and we could always do a giveaway, couldn't we?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're saying that because I'm paying for them, buddy. Let's have a look.
I'll send you some free sets for a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway.
Laura, why am I paying for these then?
Yeah, you can't have a giveaway though. That's not how it works.
Anyway. Starfarer is 3 hours left according to Kickstarter.
Well, 2.5 hours now. Have a look if you haven't done yet. For anyone watching who is a backer, 1,000 thanks. Kickstarters are so much more about the backers than they are the creators, and it's been a hectic month, but it's been an amazing month. There's been loads of interaction. There's been loads of questions and backwards and forwards and people sharing their thoughts. It's been great fun, and so thank you so much to everyone who's backed.
And I will just say also, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're not going through a pledge manager afterwards. It's going to be through surveys. Make sure you back for what you want. Last chance to do it. And then eventually they'll hit onto the Paladin role-playing website.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course we'll fulfill to the Kickstarter backers first. They'll be a bit more expensive when they hit general sale compared with the Kickstarter prices.
Then you can store them on the wall of dice. It's on the other side of that bookcase, and every time you play a game, you won't have them to hand.
Yep, that's what happens. That's what I do.
That's Starfarer dice. We'll come back to that in a little more detail at the end, just to remind people to do what we say. Other things, funding. So I would like to talk about, because it's been so successful so quickly, the Doomtown Weird West card game. Now, I haven't gone into great amounts of detail about this, kind of intentionally, because I sometimes quite like just discovering things in real time. So let's go through it. But what I do remember is that this is like the 3rd iteration of the Doomtown game, I think. There was Doomtown Reloaded. There was at least one previous edition, I think. Hugely popular. It's a tie-in to Deadlands, hence the logo there is basically the same as Deadlands, which I probably have. Yes, I do. So for comparison, there we go. And yeah, it's a card game. Let's have a look.
So I'm not surprised you were interested in this one, Phil, because I know you're a real Deadlands fan, aren't you?
I do like Deadlands. That said, I have no intention of backing this.
Okay.
Because I remember playing Magic. What I loved more was a game called Doomtrooper, which I found out, I want to say posthumously because that feels about appropriate, since, now that I don't have any of those cards, was actually set in the Mutant Chronicles universe. So Mutant, the original Mutant games back in, well, it wasn't the original, but we're talking early to mid 90s probably.
I guess, yeah.
And I had a bunch of those cards, and I don't have them now, and I regret that.
Shame.
So kind of on principle, I don't do card games. Plus, you end up always having to replace them, and then you end up with no money because you're always buying cards and gambling on what you're going to get in the booster set.
Whilst that is absolutely true about Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and all that, one of the things that attracts me to this game is that they're calling it an expandable card game, but it's definitely not a collectible card game. So there are no booster packs.
Yeah, so I guess that's a bit like Keyforge, isn't it?
I think similar kind of idea.
But slightly more successful, probably.
Although I think in this game you get a load of cards, and I think you get to choose which ones you want, as opposed to Keyforge. You get your random deck, and you have to use that deck. So slightly different, but crucially, I think from what you're saying, you don't have to go out and buy booster packs and go on eBay and spend 10 grand to get a foil Charizard or whatever.
Yeah, and I just think it's absurd that anyone would just keep pumping money into the thing just to have the next shiny thing on the shelf. I would never do that.
Yeah, I know. Ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely don't have a wall of books to your right-hand side, do you? So...
No, these ones here that you can't see. Yeah, no.
Let's have a look.
I've played all of them.
Yeah. Yes, Mum. So yeah, as you were just saying, unlike CCGs, 2 copies of each card. Each expansion has 4 copies of every card, so everyone has access to the same card, which I think is actually very good.
Yeah, I like that.
I would still end up going all in if I was going to do it. What I think is disappointing is I don't have any nice, fancy wooden boxes like I think they did previously, like some really nice chests, if you like. So there's no sort of really glamorous collector's edition. But let's just scroll through. So you've got effectively different, looks like factions of different characters. See, there is a chest there. That's the kind of thing I was remembering, but I don't know if that's included in this. I want to say it isn't. We'll have a look in a second.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is actually. That's a shame.
That's what I was thinking of. It's like a poker set, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's actually the Doomtown thing. Lots of words. We don't do words. More words. Doomtown Weird West Edition. 260 unique cards. 78 faction dudes. And lots of other things.
So I must admit, initially when I looked at this, I thought that it was reasonably expensive. The base physical pledge is about 40 quid. But actually, then when you look at it, 260 cards, that's what, about 5 sort of standard decks of playing cards equivalent.
Yeah.
Plus you get a load of tokens as well. Yeah. So actually 40...
You get quite a lot. It isn't cheap, but you get a lot for your money. It's not just actually pretty reasonable, is it?
Yeah.
It's not just 2 decks and that's it. There's a lot of words in here, and I'm not going to bother reading them all, but you do get a coin. I just saw a challenge coin there. I'm not going to find it now, am I?
I think that was it just then, further up, Phil. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it looks like
a 1-inch metal challenge coin.
Just a sheriff badge that you get from Deadlands. And you get a revolver spinner pin thing. Additional tokens, add-ons, map, faction card sleeves. Oh yeah, because you always want to sleeve cards when you're, I don't know. There's a reason. I never got that much into collectible card games of any description enough to want to sleeve my cards.
No, likewise.
But yeah, there's lots of different pledge levels. So $60, 45 quid. The full play set is quite a bit more, £90. Then it jumps up to 2 copies of the base set for the full play set. So at that point, you're kind of showing off that you've got a lot of friends. And that you can actually all play in the same room. Okay, so this is the complete set, which is, it's quite a lot of money. You're looking at
you get a lot of stuff there. You get all the expansions. There's like 6 or 7 expansions. So
yeah, look at all that you get there. So if you like card games and you like cowboys and stuff, I think it's worth looking at. Absolutely. I really do think it's worth looking at if you like that sort of game. I like the setting, so that's why I was keen on it. So we've covered off 2 of the 3 things that were on our splash image at the beginning of the show, which leaves us with one other vendor or manufacturer to talk about, and then we've got a little bit of a free-for-all. Let's talk about the Wyrmwood Hexagonal gaming system. Now, I don't know if anyone that's watching live or if any of you that are watching this on playback know, but I actually am a really big fan of Wyrmwood. Very lucky that we've been in a position where we've been able to buy some Wyrmwood things. So I've got a personal dice tray and a dice tower, which we did on a thing called Roll the Dice, where basically you pay a set amount and they send you it in a random wood, and then you hope that you don't hate it. And luckily I didn't. And last Christmas before last, I think, or it might have been last Christmas, at some point over the last 18 months at a Christmas time, we secured a bunch of vouchers for Christmas from Wyrmwood. And we spent those on, I will show you. So we spent those on this. We got light on, there we go. So can't really see what this is, but in fact we've got a tiny little dice tray. Actually, not a huge fan of this. And then just a bunch of these, what they call solo tiles. And hang on, they have to be put together in the same orientation with this silver thing, all painted in the same way. But these are all different woods.
The way they snap together with those magnets is very satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, let's see if it will hold. It does, in fact, hold until you get to about there. Trying to remember exactly what we've got here, but I want to say we've got black walnut, Padauk. These 2 are purple heart. Then I think these might both be. They might both be rosewood, but I don't think they are actually. I think one of them is rosewood and the other one might be poisonwood. I'd have to check. But they're really nice. And they've got a coaster on the back, which we'll never, ever use, because once that gets wet, it's just going to be horrible. But we use these all the time. We use them in home games of Dungeon Crawl Classics because you can put your bennies, your fleeting luck trackers in there. We just use poker chips for that. We use them when we're playing board games, which is really what they're ideal for, because you can then, for example, you're playing Pandemic, you can put some of the counters in each of the thing. Like you've got your cubes and you've got your little white houses, which are used. And it just makes it much easier because then they're not loose. This campaign is for more of the above. And let's have a quick look. It's not cheap because it never is.
Well, this is the thing with Wyrmwood, isn't it? You know what you're going to get. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. It's going to be really high quality, well made, and it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have backed at the base pledge level because there's only one pledge level here, and the what you actually buy is dealt with in backer kit. So you could put $1,000 into it, but there's still only one pledge level, which is $20. And it used to be that they would do that pledge, like they'd have like a 10 or 20 pledge levels, if you like, And then when one sells out, then you go to the next one. And then when that sells out, you go to the next one, and that dictates when you're going to receive the product. They've now kind of realized they could just do it through backer number instead, and it's much easier. But in terms of what you can get, pricing is a little intense, and I'll share that in a second. Lots of different woods.
Look at all those. And what the hell is Wenge or Wengi or what? I've never heard of
I think it's Wenge. And
Wenge. Okay.
yeah, it's just a sort of black brown wood. We're hoping
It's lovely, whatever it is.
Yeah, we were hoping to be able to. We've backed the Wyrmwood modular gaming table, and we're kind of hoping that we can get the dining table in that.
Oh wow, that would look amazing.
Yeah, but it's so expensive that I mean, you buy it and you know that's your table for life. You're never going to buy another one because yeah. Honestly, we're probably going to end up getting the most cheap wood possible instead because we're moving house and that costs a lot of money. And there's lots of things that we hadn't expected, like to not be able to avoid the stamp duty because there was a stamp duty break, but it's going to end before we move. So that's quite a lot of money that we hadn't really planned to be spending. And that comes out of, the fun budget.
Rubbish.
Realistically, I know it's completely rubbish. Anyway,
yeah, grown-ups.
Enough about adulting. That's no fun. Wenge, amazing. Makassar ebony, just absolutely stunning.
I mean, they're all amazing, aren't they?
I mean, I can tell you off the top of my head, I think this one here is about $90, whereas this one is like 25 or something. We'll check the pricing in a second. So they really do ramp up, and that's just for that style. But there's some interesting styles. So you have the solo tile, got the card tile. Got the duo tile here. So the solo and duo, literally what it says on the tin. And they are really useful like that. Then you've got and that's starting at $20 for the solo. Yeah, $20, not 25. Card tile, if you're playing a lot of card games.
I'm slightly, this one feels a bit gimmicky to me. I can't think of many games where you only need 6 cards because it's only got 6 slots unless you want loads of tiles, and you can't see all the cards at once if you put them in there. I can't think of any games where that would be useful. Actually, I'm sure. I mean, of course there will be some, but
no, I'm completely with you because you're still going to bloody picking them up so you can see where they are.
Exactly.
And that's where they've got a combo tile, I think it's called, which they hate. Like if you watch any of their Worm Life videos on YouTube, they're not a fan of. But actually, I can see the value of that because it's only got 2 card rows, and then it's got a little. Like the duo tile, it's got one of those cutouts in it, and I actually think that's better if you're playing card games, because then you actually have that. You're not wasting that real estate with extra slots that just prevent you from seeing things. The caster tile, if I was playing D&D, I think this is fucking brilliant.
It's a good idea.
It's all magnetic.
Yeah.
So even when the magnets, when the balls are just in the center, the magnet's strong enough that you can literally hold it up and turn it upside down, and they don't fall out because of the power of magnets. So I really like that. If I was playing 5th edition and I was playing a caster, that would be top of my list. But I'm not. Happens occasionally, but not enough for me to warrant that. I play D&D probably twice a year. About $30 in the cherry, or whatever the cheapest wood is. I think it's really nice. This is a combo tile I was talking about. And I just think, although in some regards you're losing some real estate, I think if you've got a decent sized hand, you get a couple of these, put them side by side. Then if you've got any little tokens or whatever, you can just throw them in the middle, in the front. And I think that's even for just card games, I think that's more practical. You can always put some chocolate raisins in the front bit or something, keep you going.
Sure.
Yeah. This I love. I really love this. And it's very simple. They've just basically drilled 3 circles. They've fitted magnets in, and the disc has got magnets on it as well. And as you turn it around, the magnets make the disc snap. They're talking about putting different color tracker discs on the pledge manager, so you can swap them out for different colors, like steel or Damascus or whatnot.
Nice.
I haven't got a direct use for it, but I actually think it would probably work quite well for a GM when you're tracking the HP of exactly 3 NPCs. It's very good. But I'm a big fan of that. Then gimmickiest of gimmicks, because you have to then buy their post-it notes.
Yeah, that one to me, I mean, nobody needs that. I'd be doubtful how many people even want it, to be honest. Like the others all, I think, but really, I don't know about that one personally.
It'll sell. But I think you have to be in
maybe.
the US to really be able to justify it, because the shipping on those notepads into the UK is going to suck. The tavern tile, literally just a bottle opener and a coaster. Almost
Again,
simple.
it's quite gimmicky, but if you've got that kind of setup in that video, and you've got a gap, and you always have a drink with your game, why not?
Exactly. If you've got the kind of gaming group where everyone's drinking from glass bottles, which I guess happens, then yeah, I do like it a lot. Again, it's this. I don't feel that I would want to sully my expensive Wyrmwood tile with the risk of beer dripping down it and then soaking in, and that's going to stain, and then for me,
I think the thing with all of these, so 25 quid minimum for the tavern tile.
Yeah.
Absolutely nobody in the world needs that. It's just a coaster and a bottle opener, and you've already got those things in your home. And I think that's probably true for all of these. Like, one of the examples they give is keeping your trams from Ticket to Ride in one of the sort of standard ones.
Yeah.
And I can see if you've got them, that's super cool. That they're lovely just to look at and to hold and to use. I mean, I play Ticket to Ride, and I've never thought, God, I wish I had something to store my trams in. But
why not?
But they are just utterly beautiful, aren't they? If you've got some money to spare, I would.
And at some point, we'll hit the table together, Neil, and then you'll have wood envy.
I will.
Then there's the rack, which I really like. It's very elegant. Takes up more space, but it looks great. And I think realistically, and then you've got these as well. So you've got the dice vaults and the hero
they're
vaults,
quite good,
which all add up. Yeah,
but we are talking expensive, aren't we? If you want half a dozen of these, you are going to, even if you get the cheapest ones, that is some serious money.
Half a dozen, 30 quid each, when you take into account shipping, etc. So
200 and something bucks, probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, 10, you'd be looking at 300 quid. But if you want to include shipping and stuff, it's going to end up being that. So 5, you're looking at a couple of £100, plus you're going to get charged VAT when they come into the country. I know that's from experience. So that's going to be an additional 20%. So let's say that it was 150, 180, £200. It makes it easier, doesn't it? Plus an additional 20%. So that's an extra 40. So you get 240. Plus, no matter which courier brings it in, they're going to charge you £10 for sending you that email. So that's
privilege
£250.
Of taking your money.
That's 250 quid. Then take into account that if you're going to get these, you might as well get a nice wood.
Sure.
And suddenly that half a dozen is going to be 500 quid plus.
Yeah. Does definitely make more sense if you're in the US, because you avoid a lot of those costs then.
Yeah.
For shipping and import and so on.
So I think really the best way to do it is if you're, in the UK, if it wasn't COVID times, if you were able to go to somewhere like Gen Con, then do that and then just bring them home, and you might get charged VAT on them, maybe, but you're certainly not going to get charged shipping, are you?
If you stick them in your bag, I think you'd be unlucky to get.
I already had them, mate.
Exactly, yeah. I took them over to play games with.
Yeah, exactly. And they were also,
the Dark Orb does not endorse avoiding paying VAT.
Dark Orb doesn't pay VAT because it costs too much to run. But yes, that. And then you've got this great big tray as well, which you can put your tiles in, which I absolutely love. Then they've got this additional thing where you can get personal dice trays with these wonderful cartography things in them. And then a monster vault to go in it. And then you're looking at the masterwork, which I think is absolutely stunning.
Amazing.
Roll the dice. They were also talking about, although I don't see it here, so maybe it's just going to be on their website, a waffle iron, which I think they said was going to cost like $1,500 or something. It's on their we follow the YouTube and we watch all the YouTube shenanigans on the Worm Life stream. Yeah, like $1.50 for a hexagonal tile that you can put waffle batter in and then do that.
Wow.
I really like it. We've backed it. Whether or not we're going to maintain that pledge, I don't know. Oh yeah, pricing. Very quickly, give you an idea of pricing. Oh, it's a calculator that isn't loading up properly on my screen. That's interesting. I genuinely can't get to the menu underneath. So for whatever reason, my browser is refusing to look at that. There's a pledge calculator. Have a look at that. It's going to be more expensive than you want to spend. Yeah, I'll show you what I'm seeing, just in case. But yeah, this doesn't seem to load up properly for me. Look, it's really weird. You can kind of see it down here at the bottom, but it's just not.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
Not behaving. Fine. Right. Did you want to talk about Strange Hills?
Yeah, let's quickly talk about Strange Hills and Protocol Squared.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because these caught my eye. These are both quite new, and they caught my eye because these are two.
Going back to Wyrmwood. Yes, exactly. Willhover is will have, basically. It's a Swedish word that is when you have that. It's like FOMO, fear of missing out. Sorry, Strange Hills.
Yeah, so Strange Hills and the other one, I've forgotten the name already, Protocol Squared.
Protocol Squared. Oh yeah, I did look at that. Eons.
They're two GM-less games. And I don't know if I'm a big fan of GM-less games. One of them, and I think it's not this one, I think it's the other one. No, maybe it's this one. I'll have a look when we scroll in a sec. One of them is also diceless. And so I think these both fall... Yeah, don't do dice. It's a terrible idea. You'd want games with loads of dice where you need hundreds of dice.
But you haven't got very many, so you have to back the Starfarer.
Exactly.
That has to be a sci-fi game. Anyway,
games that use dice and poker chips are particularly my favourite at the moment.
So yeah, this is the no dice, no masters system.
So these are both very much in the domain of storytelling games. And for me personally, I think I like a bit of G in my RPG. And I think I like to roll dice. I genuinely do like to roll dice because I like that element of randomness. And I like to have a GM in a game because I like the idea that there's someone who knows what's going on. And because I really enjoy GMing as well. So I don't think I'm going to be backing either of these, but I thought they were worth kind of flagging up.
Yeah, I've played entirely one GM-less role-playing game. And I think...
Was that Fiasco?
It was. And the GM was... Well, the person who ran the game, if you like, as opposed to the GM, was great. And the party was great. And I think it's recorded somewhere on the Effect stream, actually, the Effect podcast YouTube stream. But when I'm a player in a role-playing game, I want someone to be telling me a story. I want to be in a world where not everything feels like it's directly influenced by me. And to an extent, I want my character's limitations to be somewhat realistic in terms of my interactions on a day-to-day basis. There's a finite amount that I can influence because I'm in a genuine, existent world. And me as a player, obviously, I don't mind having some influence and the conversation that sometimes happens in a game where the GM says, I'm not sure. What do you think? Should we do this or do that? No problem with that. That's fine. But I guess I don't really like making up everything for the story unless it's a story that I'm telling. And that collaborative storytelling, so far, I haven't loved. I suppose Forged in the Dark is a little bit like that. We've spoken many times about Blades in the Dark, and we didn't quite love it. I would love to be proven wrong on that, And I'm hoping that at some point, maybe one of our other members of the Discord, or one of our other contributors to the Dark Orb, might want to run a Fortune in the Dark game, and we can join in and see if it's very different from what we've experienced, because Neil and I have played Blades in the Dark together. But so far I'm just not sold, and I think it's for the same reasons, that without some structure from someone, it just kind of feels like it's lacking what I need in a role-playing game.
Yeah, I think I agree. Having said that, I think we're approaching it from the point of view of role-playing games.
Yes.
And this is almost, I mean, it is a role-playing game. It's almost something different. I think if you are coming at this from a background of improv theatre,
yeah, exactly,
you would probably love this. And so I think, there's a sort of spectrum there, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think that's where we run the risk as hobbyists of identifying different things as the same. And in fact, we were talking after the recording we did for Mutant Underground and Starfarer, which is going out, I think, end of the weekend, probably. If you've been waiting for that, then that'll be up soon. About Johan Egerkrantz, the artist for Vessen, and how he's got a new book coming called Dragons. And to my mind, as someone in Western Europe, and specifically from the UK, what we class as dragons in the UK comes from the heraldic idea of dragons as being 6 limbs, 4 legs and 2 wings. And if it's got 4 limbs, so that's 2 wings and 2 legs, it is maybe a member of the dragon family, but it's actually a wyvern, because in heraldry, that's what it says. But of course, in Sweden and I think, those sorts of areas, dragon does mean 2 wings and 2 legs, and also it probably covers lindworms and things like that as well. So it's a very different thing that's got the same name, and I think we run the risk with GM-less games of calling them role-playing games when they're kind of almost not.
Yeah,
they're just as valid.
They're a related thing,
fun,
but a slightly different thing.
They need a completely different skill set, and it's maybe just not a skill set that I've yet acquired. I did do improv theatre when I went to drama classes when I was in school, 25 years ago or whatever. That was a long time ago, and I think it's about rekindling those skills. But this does look really nice. I love the artwork.
It does, doesn't it? The artwork's amazing, and I love the idea. So you play a member of what was once the ruling class in a tyrannical dictatorship. But the dictatorship has fallen, the world is dying, and now you have to decide, are you going to be a better person? And I think that as a setup, that's fantastic. That hits my sort of grimdark kind of buttons that I like. So that sounds really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I have to say, as a Kickstarter campaign, one thing that makes me a bit worried about this is the page is just not long enough. There's nowhere near enough details for me. You read the whole.
There are quite a lot of details, but a lot of it is art and then stretch goals, isn't it? I mean, you get to here, and then suddenly it's all stretch goals, and there's stretch goals about what, and then there's a lot of information about the creators. And I know you're also going to be rather biased against it because there's a cat.
That's true.
We do have a
there's Kate and her cat.
Yes.
Kate, I'm sure you and your cat are both lovely, but I'm not a cat fan, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and this is why I think Neil and I may never break bread over a table. Although we've come close at UK Games Expo, because he'll see our cat and then just, I don't know, have some kind of...
No, I think for me, this looks really interesting, but...
I like the style of it a lot.
There's not quite enough about how you actually play.
Yeah, I mean, the digital version is £20, $25. And signed print copy PDF, it's $125. Is there a physical? Oh, that comes with an at-cost print coupon. She's probably going to cost you about £10 or something.
Also, another cool thing, each character has a deep wickedness that they will either lean into or reject. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I like the idea of that.
let's compare this to Protocol Squared Eons, which I do remember seeing. I saw this, and first of all, also Martin said, I love microscopes, gemless, fantastic tool for world building as well. I don't know microscope. I have a microscope that's gemless as well.
Do you know? I think I've got a PDF copy of Microscope actually, but I've never used it. It looks pretty. It looks interesting.
Yeah, this splash art here got my attention straight away.
I mean, just from the art,
supernatural horror story
spectacular.
roleplay. Yeah,
look at that, amazing.
Yeah, I could be inclined to back.
Again,
that.
I'm getting a grimdark feel from this, which I like.
Yeah, I would be more inclined to look at this one than the previous one personally, and then struggle to find a party to play.
I think this is GM-less but not diceless. But again, this campaign page is too short. So where's all the information? I want more pictures. I want to know more about how it works.
Yeah. So and then we're done, and that's it.
And then we're done.
It really is too short. And do they have? They do have a softcover edition with a special mystery cover.
I like the fact it comes in different versions. You can or different styles. So you can play the generic version, which deals with the unknown. There's the ghastly crimes version with serial killers. There's the occult pathway, and then for some reason they say there's a transcendental horror pathway inspired by our favorite tentacled gods. So that's obviously Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I wonder if they don't want to say Cthulhu because of copyright issues, but as far as I'm aware, it's all out of copyright, isn't it? So.
Yeah, as long as you're not referring directly to Chaosium, then you're fine.
Yeah.
I would have thought. But I guess you have to play it safe. Yeah, as I said, I would be more inclined to back this. I'm not going to. Maybe when it's out and drive through, I'll have a look. But right now, I don't have the budget for it. But if you like this sort of game, I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
There is no video, which is a shame, considering how little information there is about the game itself. And in terms of updates, there's 0 updates, 9 comments, and is not shipping dice and cards out of the US, which is a shame. I think this whole thing of it's just too costly. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. That's kind of not your decision to make.
Sure. Work out how much it is and offer it. And either people want to pay it or they don't.
I would be far more inclined to pay extra for the shipping than not have it. The way that a lot of us in the hobby are is if you want to go all in and you can't go all in, you just don't go in at all. So you lose sales because you don't want to have that extra shipping when you could just be honest about the shipping costs and be upfront about it. And yes, they fluctuate. So
and just say, sorry guys, shipping's super expensive. We're going to have to charge X amount, or we think it'll be X amount, and we'll charge it in the pledge manager or whatever.
Yeah, and if when we get the shipping quote, it's too much, we'll refund you. Or
exactly.
You can have the PDFs and do it that way. But then you're still putting control in the hands of your backers, and you're not patronizing them and saying that it's too expensive because you don't know how much money these people have.
Yeah,
basically. Your backers could be completely minted. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those. And will pay any amount to get that product in their hands because they really like it. And you just kind of told them, I don't want a custom. I can't be bothered. It's too much hassle. And I know it's difficult. I know how much more difficult it is now, particularly to get things to the UK because we have to do all the extra paperwork because of Brexit. But yeah. You shouldn't really make those decisions for other people unless you're being upfront about why. I've got one left to discuss. It's going to be very quick. This is going to be a declaration of how much I hate this product. Know what's coming?
Oh, I know what's coming. I couldn't agree more.
I love Transformers. Generation 1 Transformers was just the most amazing franchise for me. I was born in 1980, so this is my generation. I loved it. I had loads of the toys, not all of them, obviously. And Eagle Moss are an established brand. They do those magazines, buy 907 issues, and
They
then
do
you can
those.
build a
Okay.
DeLorean. I had a whole load of the Batmobile ones and should have cancelled it way sooner than I did because they didn't tell you how many issues you would need to fulfill the set. I need to sell them. If anyone would like to buy some Eagle Moss Batmobiles with the magazines, then let me know. Then I could maybe afford to get some Wyrmwood gaming tiles. But these, I think I worked it out, you're looking at effectively £20 per figure, which is not unreasonable for a painted resin figure. But I really hate the design that they've gone with.
Me too.
I
And
don't
so
care
the whole set is,
painted.
what is it? It's like 400 quid or something?
It's more than that.
Is it more than
I
that?
think if you do the sensible thing and also get Rodimus Prime and Galvatron, you're looking at £514 plus, as this is in dollars, plus probably shipping and VAT.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 500 quid. VAT on that's going to be an extra 100. These are resin, they're not super cheap. I don't know what the shipping rates are. Let's have a look and see if we've actually got them here. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have that. Doesn't say.
I don't know, it says, yeah. For me, I mean, I don't like the look of it. Maybe it's not that expensive for what you get, but it's still really expensive. And I might be missing the point here, but I think so. Obviously, chess is super hot at the moment because of the Queen's Gambit. So loads of people are buying chess sets. Oh, you should. It's good.
It's going to be better than this.
But I actually think you can't even really play chess with these because all the pieces are different, which I know is sort of the point.
How do you keep
track?
But
so how do you know which one is the bishop or the?
They've got a little thing.
That's it down there. Okay.
Is that on all sides? It must be.
That's still a bit.
And I hate this chessboard.
I still don't think that's going to be. I don't think it's going to be easy to play chess with that. And maybe the point is just you have it as a display piece more than a game. But if I'm paying £400-500 for a chess set, I want to be able to play chess with it as well.
It's also worth mentioning this thing is 2 foot wide.
Is it? Well, okay.
Yeah, so it's a chess set that you would need your dedicated chess side table for in your Transformers room in your mansion, where you can say, "Oh yeah, that chess set. I don't like the minis, and I think the chess set is ghastly, but I bought it anyway." That's just my opinion. I mean, some people probably really love it, but I just. Yeah. Okay. Yoel has contributed. I'm going to show up all of Yoel's comments. It's so fucking ugly. Yes, it is, and expensive. I don't think it's overpriced for what's there, but I think what's
maybe
there
not,
is
but it's
not
still a lot of money.
Yeah, as I said, you've got 36 individually hand painted resin models, 20 quid each. That's or thereabouts. Someone who is more awake will need to do the maths, but that's not actually too much for what you're getting. It's just that what you're getting looks like crap. You have way too much money and want to spend them on ugly things. Yeah, exactly. It's a conversation. It certainly is a conversation piece. I completely agree.
The conversation is, what the hell did you buy that for? Followed by, it was how much?
Yeah. Followed by, okay, I'll be at my mother's. I hate it. I really, when I saw the advert, I think it was for it, and I saw this, and I thought, oh wow, okay, click. Yeah.
I must admit, when it first came out, I thought, because they want their target something like, is it 200,000?
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
It's extremely high.
It's extremely high, and
200,000. That's
they're
UK
nowhere
as well.
near it yet.
And I thought there's no possible chance. Yeah, 300,000 US. I thought there's no possible chance they're going to get funded, but they've got almost a quarter already. So some people are liking it.
They have, but it's a really long campaign.
Too long, I think. Campaigns that long don't often do well.
Yes, I agree. And I don't know. I mean, we do know that in the last few days of the campaign, you see an uptick. I don't know how well you've done with Starfarer in that regard, or whether you
Yeah,
see
really
more.
good actually. It's been a real boost. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we might see that at the end. But you obviously you get the people who knew it was coming and they're excited and have jumped on it at the beginning, and then you get the people at the end who have gone, "Oh shit, I meant to back that." But we're now a week or so into this. That's not great.
Yeah, I
And
wouldn't
we're
be
about to hit
surprised
that
if they
lull.
don't do it. I think they're only going to get this funded if they're doing some really full-on promotion themselves.
Exactly.
They're not just going to pick it up from Kickstarter people. I don't think.
No, exactly. So I think, I mean, if you like Generation 1 Transformers and you like models that don't really resemble properly, but have a vague likeness of the cartoon,
And you love
and
this.
Bumblebee crotch thrusts, then by all means, go in on it and let us know how you like it.
Bertram's comment, Phil.
Let's have a look. They don't even fucking transform. They transform your bank balance, mate.
Yeah, it's a fine point there. It's a fine point.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, one thing I was going to say, and then I think we should wrap up. I actually got a Kickstarter delivery this week, and I'll just show that because I think some people might like it. So, what arrived was the Masticator Gate, and this is. I'll get rid of my ugly face in the corner. Hang on. There we go. Wrong one. I'm going to get rid of my ugly face. It makes it bigger. This is a campaign book for Merkbori, for Morkborg. And I'm not going to show every page because it's a campaign book and there will be spoilers. But I really like the style of this.
Nice.
It's just really cool when there's monsters and stuff. So if you're a GM for Morkborg,
So is that a third party thing, Phil, or is that
it is a third party?
Yeah,
it's classed as it. Zoom in. If I turn that light off, then it might be easier to read. There we go.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, there we go.
That cover, love that cover. It's great.
Yeah, it's really nice. So it's compatible. It's a complete campaign. There is also, which if you've ever bought anything from Drive-Thru RPG that's card format, what came with it? No, that's not true. What was part of the campaign or very closely affiliated to it? I can't remember if they were separate or not. And this is from, if I can get it up here, zoom out. Skeleton Key Games was also the Endless Demon deck. And this actually plugs in. Let me see if I can find an example, but it does actually directly plug into this book. So fairly early on there. So if you see here, place a matching card. So if we look through and see if we can find a matching card. There's a matching card.
Nice.
Or frozen. Oh, drifting off the camera there. Really nicely done. So yeah, have a look at the Masticator Gate. It's fulfilled on Kickstarter now. I think it's on Drive-Thru RPG. In fact, I know it's on Drive-Thru RPG because this was a Drive-Thru RPG print on demand. There is also, I think, a deluxe edition, which, to be honest, probably doesn't add that much for the UK because the amount that you will have to pay for shipping kind of doesn't make it worthwhile. But that's like a proper offset printing type thing as opposed to the Drive-Thru RPG print on demand. It has been a pleasure, Neil. We knew this wasn't
as
going
always.
to. Oh yeah, and Martin said Black Hack second edition reprint has only 2 days left if people want to back that haven't yet. I have currently backed that. It does look good. 40 quid. I think it's a good buy. We did try and say that we were going to do this in half an hour to 45 minutes. It's been an hour and 10. We've covered a lot. One last thing is, if you haven't done so already, then please do check out the Starfarer dice campaign whilst it's in its final throes.
Got an hour and 40 minutes if you're watching this live.
Yeah, so just hit up Starfarer and you'll find it straight away. And just a reminder, we're looking at one set, 10 quid. Then if you want other stuff, you just add them on as add-ons using that brand new swanky add-ons feature in Kickstarter. So it's really straightforward. 3 sets of dice, you'll get a free coin. Amazing, what are they called? Poker chips are 11 quid as well. In the UK, I paid about 40 quid for 3 sets of dice and a coin and some poker chips. And they're awesome. If you don't like them, then don't bother.
Good summary.
It has been a pleasure.
As always.
And I think it's safe to say that we will be back on, sadly without Neil, because he'll be recovering from a very long Kickstarter.
Yes, I will be passing out quite soon. I'm going to eat a pizza and pass out.
A whole pizza.
And probably drink a beer or two.
A whole pizza. It's going to be an extra large from Domino's. Yeah, but we'll be back on live in just under 2 hours to play Dungeon Crawl Classics with GM or Judge, as we say in Dungeon Crawl Classics land, Zach, who you may remember from the DCC thing we did earlier. Until then, though, thanks so much for joining. Please like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I hope your dice rolls are going to be way better than mine will be later. Ciao, ciao.
See ya.